Hello everyone, it's AQW Blazer91 here, and today it's coming to the end of March, which means it's the usual, where I gotta go through the games I bought this month, in which case it's one for March 2024, where I'm gonna be covering some new stuff that I picked up. So then, first of all, I've got something that will be handy for when I pick up Game Boy games, and that is a new tub. And this tub right here has my unboxed Game Boy games. We have two new Game Boy games I picked up. That one's a more recent one, so I should have removed it, but never mind. I got two new Game Boy games. One for the original Game Boy and one for the Game Boy Color. Here is classic Game Boy. Here is classic Game Boy Tetris. You can't go wrong. It was what was popular on the original Game Boys back then. This is why I played as a little boy. It's the original Game Boy Tetris. Classic puzzle game. And it still holds itself up pretty well. If you've got a Game Boy, this is one that you need. And we also got a Game Boy Color game, Mortal Kombat 4. This is the Game Boy Color version, where it's the handheld representation of the fourth Mortal Kombat game, which made the jump to 3D. But this Game Boy Color version is 2D. And unlike the Mortal Kombat games where you utilize the digitized actors, Mortal Kombat 4 on Game Boy Color uses custom-made sprites. So for that's different for a handheld Mortal Kombat game. But that doesn't make it good though. Because Mortal Kombat 4 on Game Boy Color is bare bones. Only 8 fighters to play as. No multiplayer. And no other features. There may be some, it may have the combat codes where you can unlock some secrets with it, which I don't know any, but it's a very stale fighter on the Game Boy Color. But the positive, it has speech on it, for what it's worth, and it has fatalities, which look like crap. Yeah, like absolute crap. But anyway, at least I bought this little tub here, so I could put in all my unboxed Game Boy Color games that don't have the cases for them. So that's a positive. Really good stuff. Really good stuff, this tub. And I'm going to be needing it anytime I buy. I'll sort it out later. But anyway, I bought that for when I buy some Game Boy and Game Boy Color games that don't have cases, or any Game Boy Advance games that do not have a case that I can't buy for them. Okay, and next up, we got a DS. We got another Game Boy game, which is Magical Quest starring Mickey and Minnie. This is a Game Boy Advance port of the original Disney's Magical Quest game that was on the Super Nintendo. This is the first one. There were 3 games in the Magical Quest games. Two of them were released in English. The third one was only released in Japan on the Super Nintendo. Here I have the first one. And the second and third ones are also on the Game Boy Advance, with the third one on the Game Boy Advance being the first and only time Magical Quest 3 would get a release in English. And the Game Boy Advance version is a very faithful port of the Super Nintendo game. It's got all the power-ups, it's got the abilities, it may not sound as good as the Super Nintendo version, but still, and the screen resolution is lower, but still, it's a very faithful port of the Super Nintendo game, and I'm absolutely happy to have this. Next up, a DS game, and it is Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, one of my all-time favorites on the DS. A fantastic Castlevania game and one of the best Metroidvania type games, where it's a sequel to Aria of Sorrow, and Soma has to go infiltrate Dracula's castle again after being taunted by the Cecilia Fontier. I can never remember her name. After she attacks him, and he has to find her and deal with her, as well as knowing why she invited him to a castle. And if you play the Aria of Sorrow, Dawn of Sorrow is a fantastic follow-up to it. We can use souls from your enemies to use against enemies, and it's a really good system. I enjoyed it back in the day on the DS, and now I've got the European copy, the proper PAL legitimate copy I've got now, and it's pretty good. Maybe missing an instruction manual, but still, this is great. This is good enough for me, in my opinion. And next up, we have a PC game. Halo Combat Evolved. I have this on the Xbox, now I have this on the PC again. And I saved it at PC again because my first experience playing the first Halo game was on the PC. And the PC version was actually a pretty solid port of the Xbox game, because it had the online play, and the online multiplayer. Yeah, it was all right, just a bit laggy in some instances. Well, depending if you had a good internet connection. I didn't back in the day, and yeah. And Halo on PC, great representation of the original Halo. And that version is still good enough to play it if you want to play it on PC. But nowadays there's the Master Chief Collection on Steam, which you can get, which is way better. And it has all the Halo games together. And now, next one, I have a bunch of demo discs. Yeah, 3 demo discs. Turns out the shop that I go to had, Super Tomato, had some demos that he was selling off for, and I picked up some went ahead and picked up some demos for the old PSOne. And I had some demos of games that I really wanted to try out, and they're pretty good. And I managed to find a disc of Demo 1, which was the very Demo 1 I had with my PlayStation 1. As this demo disc of Demo 1 I had with my PlayStation, with my PSOne back in the day, had Abe's Odyssey, which me and my family liked. Life Was Tanker, which was the very first thing I tried on that demo disc. And yeah, I sucked at it, but I got better at it. And eventually beat it. Porsche Challenge. Overboard. And what was it? Formula 197. I don't remember that one being on there. Hercules, Ridge Racer, Rapid Racer, Karashi, which was a very addictive puzzle game, Overboard, and plus it had videos of Soul Blade, which was a fantastic fighter, and Roscoe McQueen. And it had a very nice technical demo showcasing what powers the PlayStation 1 could behold when it showed a 3D dyno. And it was very cool back in the day. And there's one of this one, which had a demo of Quake 2 on there, which I liked. Spyro 3, Crash Bash, Gran Turismo 2, Oswald Party. Yeah, this one was a decent demo disc, but mostly it just had Quake 2 on there, which I really enjoyed. And here's one of the demos I once had, but the disc for it disappeared, but now I've got a new one. The 10th one, that one had a very good demo disc showing very cool Net Eurose game, which reminded me a lot of Wolfenstein 3D. So yeah, that's a pretty good and cool demo. So yeah, I pretty much enjoyed this demo, these demo discs, and it's nice that they're selling them now. And it's an interesting thing because these demo discs of PlayStation 1 games, they're now starting to become valuable collector's items. Because what they used to go for, for like £5 or something, £2.99 or £5-ish. I can't remember how much PlayStation magazines costed back in the day. These old PlayStation magazines that came with demo discs back in the 90s. They would give you, but anyway, back then on the original PlayStation 1, they used to hand out demo discs with these PlayStation magazines, and they'd give you previews of what new games were coming out back then. And this was an issued with your original PlayStation 1. This one here is different from the one I used to have, but yeah, is the one I had a purple sleeve. Was this one I can forget? This one's a pink one, pink sleeve. But yeah, and when you had the original PlayStation 1 console, you had a little demo disc that you could play, which gave you a little preview of what games were coming out or what games were out now. That were out at the time. And yeah, it was a great thing back in the day. And then there were also special rare demos that were handed out during promotions from either McDonald's or from Sony, where people who subscribed to, I think, something were given like a special registered users demo. And I can remember having one of them, and in which there were 5 registered user demo discs, and I had one of them. Alongside my brother, who had a PS1, my older brother had a PS1 also, had a special registered user disc that had also some interesting demos of games on there. So yeah, and these now are going for like 10-20 pounds ish now, these demo discs, because they're now starting to become like rare collector's items. And there's a YouTube channel I usually watch online that shows off various demos that were available. But I'm looking at the UK versions of these demos, which I'm not sure players in the US will have entirely different demos from what you're seeing right now, from these demos that you're seeing right now. So yeah, interesting that these are being sold out. So I wouldn't mind collecting some of these. They're actually because some of these are actually pretty interesting. Now then, I got 4 things here that I want to show off. And the first of these is I picked up a set of some new styluses from my DS, in which I got 4 of these here. Four red styluses. 4 red styluses, which will work for not only any of the DS's, but also for my 3DS as well. And it's the exact same one that I've got, and that came with my third-party carry case that I had, and I had a long time ago. So this is good for a spare, in case something goes wrong with my other ones, and I can use a spare one. So I figured I'd buy a set of them. These were not very cheap, because obviously these are bigger ones compared to a regular stylus, which looks, on the original DS, that looked way smaller. I think something like this tall. I think they were this tall. And I think maybe this tall for the 3DS stylus. Yeah, so whatever the case, I've got myself some big styluses, and they're very, very good. I also picked up a PlayStation themed new wallet. I just wanted to show you this. It looks very authentic. It actually looks like an actual PlayStation console. I'm not gonna unfold it up because my personal info is in there. So I just wanted to show you what it actually looks like. So yeah, pretty cool. And now we got one thing to show off. Is that I got some things from my PSP, and that is a new memory card. I got bigger memory card, or memory stick, as this is called, much bigger than the one that my PSP came with, and I got a 64GB one. A 64GB memory stick is what I need for storing any big amount of games on my PSP. So that's a good thing. And then I also got a hand grip. I got a new hand grip for my PSP. I've been wanting to get my hands on a new hand grip for my PSP because, what was it? When I was handling my PSP, transferred to this new house, and the bits covering these little things that were covering the PSP broke off, and I had to get rid of it. They broke off, and I lost the pieces to them. And I would have put in some sticky, and I could have gone like some super glue or something to try and stick them down. But yeah, oh well, it's just one of those unfortunate things that happened. Now, in case you ask about the tape, I had a little accident with this when I actually got it. But I applied some tape and some super glue to it, and it all stuck pretty well. A lot of it may be sticking out a fair bit, but it's actually pretty comfortable holding this again. And it's very comfortable to have this back on. Alright, jump cut. I actually got my PSP right here, and I'm going to show you how to pop it in. My one's got a wrist strap on there. But to simply put it, you pop this over. Pop this in. And there you go. It's in. And how does it feel in hands? Oh. It's stapled the R. I've stapled the R button down. Hold up. Another jump cut here. And I got a thing in. Yep. Yep, it's all snapped in. And I can be ready to play. I have played with this thing, with this grip, for a couple of hours. And yeah, the grip feels pretty good. Grip feels nice. I can easily take in and out of USD games with no problem with this thing on. So yeah, it's comfortable, and it's the only grip I can actually get my hands on, considering Amazon has these things for about a tenner. So yeah, it's not bad. And I think this little sellotape, and having the sellotape over it, just gives it like a little decent decoration. I don't mind. Just as long as it doesn't break. These little connector things that hold the console in place don't break off again. But otherwise, yeah, that's still going fine. I'd show gameplay, but I can't. Not when I'm having to hold this thing. So anyway, that's everything I bought this month. I think the highlights were getting the things for this. Getting the things for my PSP, because I wanted to get a grip for my PSP for a while. I've got one now. Now I just need to get a hand grip for my Game Boy Advance. Because I want to get a hand grip for my Game Boy Advance to play it. And I need to get something that will light my Game Boy Advance in the dark. Like one that works well for the Game Boy Advance. So, yeah. That's my next goal. Is to get a hand grip for my Game Boy Advance. So, that's going to possibly do it for my games I bought this month video. And I will give you an announcement that I am working on my videos for Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn playthrough. That is coming up. I'm working on it, but I did have a little bit of an accident with one of my videos. I deleted a segment of it, but I try to recreate entirely what I did using someone's video footage. I'm not going to say the username or anything like it. just try and edit it and just use what I can to fill out the mistake that I accidentally make, and so that when I do more video transferring from my game console to my PC, I hope to never accidentally go with deleting some of my footage again. And like I said before, only one video of Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn will be uploaded daily, so that everyone has a chance to catch up watching my stuff and seeing what I've uploaded. And also, I'm also going to be doing Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection on the PS4. I will be taking down my old 2004 and 2005 Star Wars Battlefront videos for new ones played on the PlayStation 4, because better quality and you're able to hear the game much better in comparison. So it'll be much better. It'll be much better. And plus, even though Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection launched badly, SBR is doing what they can to fix it. So at least I'll have that to look for. At least I'll have that to look forward to when I get round to it. So this is gonna do for me for my games I bought videos. I hope you all enjoyed it. Give it a comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. So take care of yourselves and goodbye.